Welcome to a video called Addressing the Starfield Hate. Or, as I like to call it, putting a dress on a pig so you can make out with it in public. Did I go too far? Or do most people not go far enough with this game? Stay tuned to find out. Warning. This video is going to be hard for some of you to sit through. God knows it was really difficult and emotionally and mentally draining for me to make. Trying to rationalize and figure out what the hell some of these people are talking about, trying to make sense of the blabber and the idiocy that comes out of their mouths is very, very difficult sometimes. And you may not want to watch this video. You may choose not to watch it. I completely understand. I would rather never watch this video again myself. However, here's the thing. If you don't continue to comment and push back on some of these videos by these people, then they will win in the end. They will, okay, look, we're still talking about this, and the other people who are talking the opposite have gone away, so we win. And I won't let them continue to support bad gaming companies and bad gaming practices, because the more they support them and the more they win, then the more these kind of things happen in our industry, and we all suffer as gamers. I will say, I just want to say this. If you watch this video to the end, you'll find this to be true. The true objective of these people comes out at the end of this person's video and the end of my video on it, okay? And it is this basic comment, and you will see it coming out of this person's video right at the end, okay? The basic thing that they are trying to get across is only my opinion matters. Your opinion does not matter. You should shut up and go away. Honest to God, that is the main goal of these people, to make you shut up and go away. Because they don't value your opinion on anything unless it 100% matches theirs. These are the enemies of free speech. Okay? And these kind of people cannot be allowed to do this, which is why I tackle these subjects and argue with these people on these videos, even though it pains me to do so. I would rather get a flesh wound than have to go through some of these videos that I do. And I don't want to be negative all the time, but sometimes I have to be, because someone's got to point out the utter hypocrisy that goes on when these people open their mouths. I am so sorry that you guys may choose to sit through this. Again, I understand if you want to give it a pass. However, I will continue to do this because it has to be done. I don't like doing this. I don't like being negative. I don't like getting emotionally charged. I don't like having my day ruined and feeling sick in the pit of my stomach, having to listen to these people and argue with them. But I will not let them win, because the only goal they have is to make you shut up, because they do not value you or your opinion one bit. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, that's the difference between them and you and I. I value their right to an opinion. They have a right to an opinion, even if it's different than mine. They have a right to express that opinion, even if it's different than mine. However, when they lie, I have the right to turn around and say, no, they lied, and look, I'll show you. They don't believe I have that right. They don't believe I have any rights because I'm not them. So again, this is your warning. I do apologize. This is a lengthy video, and it is a painful video, but I hope you understand why I do what I do when I do it. All right, everyone, as you can see, we've got a video here. This is by VXR called Starfield Addressing the Hate. Original video will be linked down below. We're going to get into this. I'm sure I'm going to have a few comments to make on this. We'll see as we go along. Let's see what VXR has to say about addressing the Starfield hate.
Foremost, if a game...
First of all, I want to tell you, this appears to be a very, very low volume, which I don't really like. means I have to crank my headphones, which means my own voice is screaming at me just to be able to hear this video. VXR, please raise your volume because now I'm going to have to do it in post editing.
First and foremost, if a game comes out and it's okay, that's not the end of the world. Starfield is an okay game with a foundation to build on. It is not the...
Teacher, I have a question. What foundation to build off is there? If you mean there is a game that could potentially therefore be built something off of, sure. What foundation is there in Starfield? Because it's missing everything that most gamers want this game to have. And again, gamers wanted this game to be great when it came out, and a lot of people expected it to be great. And a lot of people have now come out and given their opinion and said, no, it's not. It's not great. Some of whom have put in hundreds of hours into it and walked away saying, why did I waste my time with this piece of garbage? Where is the foundation? Foundation of loading screens? The foundation of, okay, you can have a few cool, I guess, snap-on building ship mechanics for a ship you never actually spend any time in or do anything. It's just a storage crate. Yeah, you could build some compounds on some empty planets for no apparent reason, really. What exactly is the foundation of Starfield? The only foundation is the game came out and there is a game. That's the only actual foundation you have to build off of. Even the modders are like, hell no, there is nothing here to build off. There is no way to make this game good because it's missing everything it needs. Everything. And we can't fix that. All the core stuff is missing. So I disagree with that there's a good foundation to build off of. I categorically deny and disagree with that. That is not true. That's not reality. That's just what you think or what you choose to think. It's not reality as backed up by the reviews on this game.
The foundation to build on. It is not the end of the world that it's about a 6 out of 10.
It's the end of the world if you paid $100 for it. If you saved up your whole year long because you only had like about $100 budget from your mom and dad, you know, or maybe your single parent mom, or I don't know. You're not wealthy, okay? $100 is a lot. You know, you get given $100 to spend on your gaming per year, and you decide what you're going to spend it on. Rather than buy, you know, 5 okay $20 games, you're going to save up for the great Starfield that's finally coming out. You're so excited for it. This is so awesome. You're going to play this game forever and ever and ever because this is the only budget you have for gaming in the year. And then this piece of turd comes out. Yes, you're going to continue to play it, and you're going to continue to be like, yeah, it's great. All the while your heart breaks because you know you got effed over by this company who took all the bloody money you had to spend on entertainment for your year. People like that, you're going to tell those people that it's not the end of the world if this game is only a 6 out of 10, and that's your opinion. And if you're pro Starfield and you're saying it's a 6 out of 10, think about what someone who's not pro Starfield is going to rate this. You don't even have to be anti-Starfield. If you're not a Starfield fan, what are you going to rate this game? It's not going to be a 6, is it? If people who are in love with Starfield are rating this a 6, what are you, the average person, going to rate this game? I'm going to tell you it's going to be no higher than a 5, is it? Don't tell me it's not the end of the world, because for some of these people, it bloody was. Short-sighted already, and we're 14 seconds in.
The faction quest lines are awesome, and one of them should definitely be the main quest in the game, but
Okay, so the faction quest lines are awesome. That's an opinion. Break that down and give me the proof that they're awesome. Give me the proof that the faction quest lines make this a great game. Don't just say the faction quest lines are awesome. All that is your opinion, right? You're not proving anything with that. You're just stating something. It's all about how you feel about it or how you choose to feel about it. The fact that he says one of the faction quest lines should be the main quest line, okay, that should be a warning bell to you. that means that the side quest lines, one of them is better than the main quest line. That may not be the end of the world, but that should be a warning sign that probably means the main quest line is ass.
I'm not going to spoil that. There are also some really interesting companions, and the shipbuilding's legit.
Some really interesting companions who, without mod or support, stand there like this and say their AI lines, and then look at you with bug eyes like this, and let you fire weapons over their head and at their feet and have no reaction. That was acceptable back in 2000. Not acceptable in 2023 and now 2024. Shipbuilding is legit. Again, nobody spends any time on your ship because you only see it basically during loading screens. It's just a storage container. You can make your storage container look as pretty as you want. It doesn't effing matter. It doesn't actually matter.
Oh, and on top of that, it brought back the settlement system from Fallout 4. You can just do it on different planets.
Sure, you could build yourself a settlement. Okay, first time I've heard anybody actually say a settlement. Usually it's a little compound or a little base. Now they're trying to get people excited. Well, no, it's just like Fallout 4. Most people didn't even think Fallout 4 was nearly as good as Fallout 3, and most people don't think Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 were as good as Fallout New Vegas. I don't know how to respond to that. I've never heard anybody say that the base building is like Fallout before, so I don't know whether or not there's any truth to that. But if you're going back and you're comparing your base building to something from, what is it? I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever the hell Fallout 4 was. I don't remember when it came out. Sorry. Okay, that's probably one of the best things that they're only 9 years dated in this one area. I'm gonna tell you, I'm negative on Starfield, but there are reasons to be negative about Starfield, and it's because of Starfield, and it's because of the parent company Bethesda and their whole history of what they've done.
Those things I like in the game. What I dislike is the main quest line, which
Okay, a game where you dislike the main quest line, again, that's a major red flag. This is the whole point of the game. Yeah, you just like that. And this is someone who likes Starfield. And yet you say it's a 6 out of 10. You're giving the bad quest line, the bad main quest line, the bad reason for even having the game a pass. I don't get it.
can be boring at times in some of the barren planets, although they do serve a purpose for gathering resources.
Yes, the planets have a purpose. You go there to gather resources. Sure, it's a looter shooter in that sense. There's shooting, there's looting. You need to have certain resources. You go to the planets to find them. That's fine. That's a mechanic that works. But as an exploration game, which didn't Todd say, look at all the thousands of planets you can explore. Your exploration is wandering around on a barren planet with a bunch of rocks and dirt. Almost every one. You find the cave or the scientific outpost or whatever it is, and you go in, and it's the same 2 or 3 caves and the same 2 or 3 scientific outposts just dropped into this box on the planet that you can't leave because you got invisible walls, because the planet doesn't actually exist. It's a procedurally generated map made to look like a planet, but it's not a planet at all. There's no open world and there's no exploration to this game, period, despite the fact it was advertised as such. None.
The first point made by the anti-Starfield Club is that this is the worst game ever. Well, let me introduce you.
It's not the worst game ever. And people who say that are overstating things, okay? And sometimes in the heat of passion and explaining yourself, sometimes I might have said that too. I hope not, but I might have. But it's as almost as ridiculous as those who, and there's quite a few of them, who will say Starfield is literally the best game ever made. And it's literally the best game of 2023. And it's the game of the year. Those people are delusional. But yes, people who say Starfield is the worst game ever made are wrong. That's true. It's not. But it doesn't mean it's anywhere near good.
Anti-Starfield Club is that this is the worst game ever. Well, let me introduce you to The Day Before.
How did I know this was coming? Look, if your way, think about this, if your way of trying to convince people that this game is good, even of trying to convince people that this game, as this person says, VXX, VXR, whatever they are, is a 6 out of 10. And a 6 out of 10 is not a good game. It's a mid game. It's just okay. Okay? If your argument, your first argument that this game is a 6 out of 10 and shouldn't be rated any lower is it's not The Day Before. I'm pretty sure most of my viewers have heard of The Day Before. You may have seen some of my videos on it. You may have seen videos of others on it. You've heard people talking about this. You're aware of this. The Day Before was a scam. Okay? The Day Before was designed to do two things. Okay? And they hoped for a third. The third didn't pan out, but the other two things were the main things. Okay? Day Before wanted to get hype about the game, and so they put out videos of gameplay that were not gameplay. They were computer generated garbage. They had nothing to do with the game at all. And they were designed to get hype about the game. They chose a gaming category, an open world survival zombie MMO that got people excited because people wanted a good one of those forever. They put out these fake gameplay videos and things that they cobbled together, made them look really amazing, but they weren't real. Those were designed, this is still point one, those were designed to get the hype, and they got it. Most wish list game ever on Steam, okay? This game got hype behind it. The more hype they got, number two, the more investors wanted to get involved, okay? And investors are where the money flows in. Millions and millions of investment dollars flowed into this game. How much did they actually spend on the game? We know they bought a bunch of assets and cobbled them together really, really piss poorly, to the point where this game was never really meant to be a game, okay? Not one that actually functioned and sold, etc., okay? Where they made money was off the investors, because those investors never got their fucking money back. They took that money and they ran. Those guys, those brothers made tens of millions of dollars, and then afterwards they changed the name of their company and they're back doing the same thing so they can take somebody else. They're professional scam artists. All right, number two. So number one is the hype, which they had to fake footage to get the hype. Number two, once the hype was there, they got the investor money they ran off with. Didn't actually spend it in the game. Now, the third thing they hoped to do at the very end was, hey, maybe with all the hype we've got, even though people are bad mouthing us and getting, thinking about what we really are here, they're figuring it out. Maybe, just maybe, we could cobble together some assets, and those assets were bought within the 3 months of the game coming out, because we know some of those didn't go on sale until 3 months before the game came out. They weren't available to be purchased, so we know that. They cobbled it together really quickly throughout the game, hoping maybe it will pass muster, maybe a bunch of people will buy it, maybe they'd be okay. But because of the internet sleuthing people had done already, the videos had already come out about the company and the game, Steam was pretty much forced into a position where they had to backtrack and give everybody the money back for this piece of crap. This was not a game, this was a scam. If you're trying to tell me that Starfield is a good game and a 6 out of 10, which again, 6 out of 10 is not a good game, it's just an okay game, barely. If you're trying to convince me that Starfield is a 6 out of 10, and the first way you try to convince me is saying it's better than The Day Before, you cannot set your bar any lower than comparing something to something that was never a game but was just a scam. The fact that it came out doesn't mean it's a game. It was never, ever, ever a game. It was a criminal marketing ploy. It was a grift. It was a scam. That's all it ever was. It's not a game. I refuse to call the day before a game. It tried to fool people and investors into thinking it was a game to make the money. And it worked, and they got the money. Don't let anybody ever tell you they didn't get away with it. They got away with tens of millions of dollars of investment money those investors will never get back. You compare Starfield to the day before in order to make Starfield look great. That's like me trying to serve you a meal in a restaurant. You're like, that doesn't look or smell very good. And me pull out a plate full of heaping shit and put it under your nose and see, this is bad, but this is better than that. Does that make you want to buy it? Think you want to eat it? This is the stupidest take I've ever heard. Hey, it's not the worst game in the world. It's not the day before. This is called coping. You are trying to use anything to make yourself and others around you think that this game is as good as you want it to be in your imagination. Again, you've decided to make out with the pig at home, and now you've decided, hey, it's okay to make out with this pig. In fact, I'm going to go out in public and make out with this pig, and nobody better look sideways at me. I'm going to convince people by putting a nice dress on this pig, and out we go, and we're going to sit on the park bench and friggin' French kiss and make out. Don't you dare tell me I'm doing anything wrong. This is my date, and she's beautiful. That's what this is, people.
Is that this is the worst game ever. Well, let me introduce you to the day before. The Gollum game. No Man's Sky when it first launched. Every Madden game since 2004. Oh, and that King Kong game that you didn't play. Those are all terrible games and arguably the worst.
I'd rather play any of those games than Starfield, quite honestly, because I will never, ever, ever give any money to Bethesda ever again in my life if I live to 1,000,000 fucking years old. And I won't. But if I did, I would still never, ever give any money to Bethesda. To say I've lost all respect for them over the last few years doesn't even begin to cut it. Doesn't even begin to cut it. And if you still have respect for Bethesda, you should probably start doing some more research into Bethesda.
So no, Starfield is not the worst game ever. Like I mentioned, it's just okay, and that's fine.
Is it? Sure, again, if you paid $20, $25, maybe even $30 for a game and you're like, well, it was okay. I played it for 10 or 15 hours. It was all right, but then I moved on to something else. That's perfectly fine. If you've got a game that was hyped for so long by a AAA company who hyped it for so long, who lied about what it is, who said they spent, 8 years working on this, put out a game that was not finished, that did not have any of the stuff in it that it needed to have, that people trashed on reviews eventually after the first little while, when they got over blowing smoke up Todd Sass about how great it was. Honestly, you paid full price for this game. Unless you're on Game Pass and you got it for free. Most people paid full price though, those who actually had to buy it. Okay, and is that okay then, that this is just an okay game? Is it okay that the company lied to get your money? Repeatedly lied to get your money? People are going to be like, no, they never lied. Come on. Anybody can go over the footage before this game launched and listen to Todd Howard talk about it and compare it to the game and the reviews and realize Todd Howard lied repeatedly about what the product was. This game should have come out in early access, should have an early access tag on it, and should have been about $30 in early access. It should still be in early access, because this game was about 2 years away from full launch when it came out. So yeah, this game was also a scam. Is it an actual game? Yes. If you can get by the bugs and stuff, some of which were game breaking, I know, you can play this game from start to finish. You can play it for the hundreds and 250 hours or whatever that Bethesda says you need to play it before it gets good. You can play it in the New Game Plus. because it gets good then, right? All the rest of it is shit up till then, but you keep going to what Bethesda says, pumping their numbers of average time played so they can tout that as this is why this game is great. Look at all the people playing it. Well, yeah, Todd, because they paid full price for it, and you kept telling them if they played long enough, it would surely get good. You promised them. Some of those people played 200, 300 hours and then walked away from the game and said, that was not a good game. They wasted all that time. So is it okay that Starfield was just an okay game? No, because more was expected, more was promised, and full price was paid. Those are my arguments for that one. So no, it's not okay. Plus, a company with a history of doing this, a company who's getting worse at it.
Back to No Man's Sky for a second, because that's the second point made by the anti-Starfield Club, is that No Man's Sky is better. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's been out for years upon years and had a plethora of updates. Clearly, you did not play the game when it first launched because none of the features you enjoy in the game today existed back then.
I'll give you an example. People said that Cyberpunk 2077 was ass when it came out. I bought the game when it came out. I enjoyed the hell of it. Yeah, there were some few bugs in it. I was on PC. I didn't have any of the worst bugs, actually. I was quite fine with it. Yeah, I did not even realize that some of the skills that you picked in the skill tree literally didn't work. Had no idea. Played completely oblivious to that. Yeah, I had some times where my car would blow up and, twist and turn through the air and end up landing on top of a skyscraper. I had some weird disappearing vehicles and those kind of things. I had a hell of a fun time playing that game for many, many, many hours long before the DLC came out, plus the update patch right before it that changed the gameplay for the game. I have not actually played it since then, although I will be going back. So for me, Cyberpunk 2077 was not a big fail when it came out, even though people would use that as an example. So, you know what? I don't know, man. I get tired of people kissing the pig. I get tired of people kissing the pig because it just encourages Bethesda and all the other gaming companies to do the same thing. We should not be encouraging these companies to do this at all. We should be extremely discouraging it because otherwise we are going to get taken over and over and over again.
I know that because I beat it on PS4 and got to the center of the universe to end up in disappointment. So stop comparing Starfield to No Man's Sky right.
Does anybody really believe that Bethesda, who has never bug fixed their games ever, is going to work diligently on Starfield for a couple of years and make it into a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 game? I don't. I think it's possible. Sure, it is possible for a company to do. Do I see Bethesda doing it? No. I give them a 0.1% chance of ever doing that. It would take such an extreme change from a company that's never done that before. And I look at how they're treating Skyrim fans right now. They're intentionally changing the Skyrim version number every time they update the creations. And the only reason they're doing that is to break free mods. They're intentionally pissing off their fan base because they want to drive people over to the paid mods. They want to make money off it. This is not a good company, people. This is not a good company at all. Ever has been. They put out some games that are pretty good. They put out some games that are pretty good and have been very, very mod capable, and the mods authors have done an amazing job of making the game replayable for years and years and years. However, again, the mod authors don't want to touch Starfield because the core game is busted. There's nothing there for them to build on. They've said it. Not a good company.
Right now, that is not a fair comparison. And for a trip down memory lane, you should just Google the heat that Sean Murray got for all of the lies before No Man's Sky even came out.
Is it a fair comparison to compare Starfield to the day before, which isn't actually a game, but was just a large scam in order to say that your game is good? Look, I found something my game's better than. Oh, it's not actually a game, but
And I'm still
picking and
confused
choosing your
on how
points.
they've just been forgiven for how big of a disappointment and how
Licking
big
out
of a
the inside
lie
of the
that
pig's
game
mouth
was
with
when
your
it
tongue
came
is what
out.
he's doing right
Don't
now.
get me wrong, it's enjoyable to play today.
Don't get me wrong. If you want to like Starfield, you can, but stop trying to convince other people it's a good game. Stop it. Let people make their own choices.
And there are some aspects that Starfield should have not stolen, but they should have been inspired by when creating Starfield, right?
Bethesda's only
should have
inspired by
learned from other
themselves
developers.
and their
I'm
greed.
not saying they shouldn't
That's
have
it.
done that. The third and final point I want to address in this video is just to tell you that Starfield, it did not hurt you. It did not come into your house and beat the shit.
Starfield did not hurt you. Again, I gave the again, if you're a young person who got caught up in the hype of Starfield and spent all your entertainment money, come from a poor background, a poor family, you don't have much money to spend, and you dished out $100 for this game, yes, it hurts you. If you look back at all the things Todd Howard said about the game and realize he lied to you to sell you a product that's broken, yes, Starfield hurts you. If you listen to Emil's comments online where he did the 15 tweets in a row telling people that they're wrong about this game, that they play the game wrong, that they're wrong to criticize anybody, that they're the bad people if they do. Yes. Yes, Starfield hurt people. Am I wrong?
Shit out of you. It did not do anything to you other than disappoint your unrealistic expectations.
Okay. Again, I call fucking bullshit on unrealistic expectations. Your expectations were based solely and clearly on what the developer said out of his own lying mouth. How is that an unreal expectation? If somebody says, my product is this and you're going to so enjoy it and here's why, and they're lying, how is it unrealistic of you to think to yourself, well, they just said that about their product? Clearly, that's going to be amazing then. It's going to be right what they said. So believing someone talking about their own product makes you unrealistic. Give your head a shake. VXR, you want to be ashamed of yourself. Keep kissing the pig, buddy.
So before you start typing nonstop
People are so
in the chat,
friggin'
take a
stupid over
step
this
back
game.
and remember that it is just a video game and it cannot hurt you, because some of your comments are outright ridiculous and emotionally charged beyond my belief.
Yeah, so your delusion is not based on your emotions or your twisted thoughts about your game. Your sense of entitlement about the people that don't believe this game, is great or just wrong, or that there's something wrong with the people who don't believe that this game is good, or they just must be cacked in the head because clearly this game is great, even though you only gave it a 6 out of 10 and you're a fan of the game. If the people who love this game think it's a mid game, then how can you get mad at the people who think the game is crap? It gets a reaction to people because people were lied to and taken advantage of, and their money was stolen from them. And their time was stolen from them. And they were continually lied about. If you put more time into it, the game will get great. And the game never got great because the game is ass. So the company got you to put more and more time into it, wasting your time in this game when you could have been playing things you actually enjoyed, things that were better than a 4 or 5 out of 10 for you. And all the time, all they were trying to do was boost their hours played number so they could say what a success the game was. People do not support companies like this. Do not do it. Ever. Because they will all do this to us.
On how much you hate this game for unrealistic expectations.
It's not, again, an unreal expectation to listen to what the developer says about the game and believe the developer is telling the truth. That's not unrealistic. You are a mouthpiece for Bethesda, VXR, and you are lying to people right now. in order to twist their thoughts, their emotions on this game. What you're doing is shameful. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Take a step back.
And it's nothing to do with hating Starfield. I could care less whether Starfield is a good game. What I hate is what it's done to people and to the industry. And I hate that it's actually helped Bethesda. I hate that because Bethesda is a bad company. They might be the worst gaming company out there right now. Predatory practices and greed are all they've got left. And fanboys who will support them. That's the three things they've got going for them. That's it. They are morally and artistically bankrupt as a company. But yet they're rolling in your dough because people like VXR continue to tout how great their games are and tell you that, hey, if you disagree, you're just having some kind of emotional reaction. You must be like an emotional baby or an emotional cripple because you're having emotion over this game. It's just a game. It didn't hurt you. Yeah, well, facts are it hurt a lot of people and it hurt the entire gaming industry. So VXR doesn't know shit about shit. He's just licking the inside of the pig's mouth again and again.
Take a breath and realize it's just a game. With that being said, to all my Starfield haters, guess what game is coming out very soon? Oh, it's that Suicide Squad game. So do everyone a favor, especially the people that are trying to enjoy Starfield,
Wow.
and go hop on that hate train for a little while.
Wow. So, yeah, he's literally saying if you don't like Starfield, you're just full of hatred, and please go hate on another game. Please leave my game alone. Oh my God. These people are so fucked up inside. I'm sorry, but they are so fucked up inside. There is something clearly wrong in their heads that they cannot grasp reality at all. What this game and what this company and what this practice has done to some people, oh, it's totally divided people. Absolutely. But what it's done to some people on the Starfield side is unbelievable. I listen to these people and I am absolutely shocked at the shit and dribble that comes out of them that they actually believe. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want these people running a company. I don't want these people serving me ice cream. I don't want these people driving my Uber. I'm worried that these people are so deficient upstairs that they ought not to be out in public. And of course, they also don't want you to have free speech. They want you to shut up and go away and pick on another game. Because, oh, don't pick on my game. It's wonderful. For fuck's sake, man. I get so tired of these people. And they keep putting out this shit and they keep convincing people with this shit too. And again, they're shilling for a company like Bethesda. And what they're doing is they're encouraging the whole community, the whole gaming community, to do the same things Bethesda has done with their last couple of games because it works. Look, you could just tell people to shut up and go away and tell them they're being emotional and tell them they haven't played the game enough to enjoy it and tell them they're wrong to criticize because that's what we've become as a society. We'll just shut down all opposition by screaming and yelling at them and not allow people to make up their own minds. That's where we're at. So if I have an emotional reaction, yeah, I'm having an emotional reaction to this guy trying to tell people that they're wrong. I'm having an emotional reaction to Bethesda thinking they got away with this one and that they're the industry leader in the shit they put out. Not even the games they put out, but the shit they do with the lies and the greed. Yeah, I'm kind of mad that my gaming industry is going this direction and people like this person are enabling it. Yes, that makes me angry. You betcha.
While because you won't even play it and you'll judge it. But by all means, let's keep this going because it didn't start with
I'm not stupid enough to play Starfield. Again, some of us understand Bethesda enough that we knew to stay away from any game they came out with until reviews had settled down to where you're actually getting the real ones, not just the hype. And sure enough, go check out the Steam reviews, people. They tanked. because people overwhelmingly feel like this game is ass.
Starfield, and it won't end with Starfield. However, it's time to realize these are just video games, and no one gives a fuck about your stupid YouTube comment on how it disappointed you and the main quest sucks and everybody that enjoys it sucks.
Okay, let's listen to that again and you tell me what kind of person this is. All right? You listen to this again and you ask yourself, what kind of compassionate, caring human being is this?
Because it didn't start with Starfield and it won't end with Starfield. However, it's time to realize these are just video games,
Listen to this.
and no one gives a fuck about your stupid YouTube comment on how it disappointed you and the main quest sucks and everybody that enjoys it sucks. If you're
Wow. Didn't VXR just say earlier in this that the main quest sucked? He even admitted the main quest sucked. So what he's saying is, if you have an opinion about my game that I love, that I rated a 6 out of 10, if you have a negative opinion about it, nobody cares about your opinion. Please don't express it. Let that sink in for a minute, people. Let that sink in. He's saying you, as a consumer, should not let out any negative opinions or thoughts you have about anything you consume. Is that not what he's saying? Am I wrong on that? You literally can't reason with a person who's that mentally deficient. You literally can't. That is ludicrous. That is the stupid ass thing in the whole history of stupid assdom that's ever been stupid ass said. It's exact opposite of reality. You know what? Luckily, I soon have to leave for work. I get called into work today on my 1 day off. I now have to work 8 days in a row. People are sick. I'm management. I got to cover for them. Luckily, I get to go to work and stop thinking about these kind of stupid ass people and their stupid ass comments that go against logic and reality. On one hand, this person says, you guys are too emotional about Starfield. You have emotional comments about Starfield, and you shouldn't be emotional about this game. It doesn't matter. It's just a game. And then he says a bunch of emotional stuff about how nobody gives a fuck, basically, about what you're saying negative about the game. Nobody cares. You're right. Nobody does care because people like you continue to enable Bethesda to make money. They can ignore the comments or just tell the commenters they're wrong and continue to make money. Nothing in the gaming industry or in life gets better. Okay, nothing will ever get better. In fact, it won't even stay the same. It'll get significantly worse very, very quickly if consumers are not allowed to voice their opinion. Oh, by the way, VXR is voicing their opinion all over this video. So VXR is allowed to voice their opinion. What they're saying is any opinion that's not my opinion cannot be voiced. Nobody gives a fuck. Again, people, I don't hate Starfield. I think it's a bad game. I don't hate it. I'd never played it. I've never bought it. I didn't put time or money into it. Okay. Therefore, I don't hate it. I just think it's not a good game. And I think it's everything around the game, all the lies, all the greed has been pretty sad. All right. It's been pretty bad for the gaming industry. It's a huge red flag for most people, except for those who have something wrong upstairs and believe that only their opinion in life matters. Anything that's not their opinion should be shut down and never said. And that is how the industry gets worse and worse and worse because of people and opinions like that would shut down your valid opinion because it's not somebody else's. I tell you what, I can't wait to get to work and stop thinking about this shit. You understand why I get frustrated with these things? Because these people are tearing apart society with their way of thinking. Okay. And trying to remake it in their image, but their brains don't function properly. I'm not saying their brain doesn't function properly because they like Starfield. He gave it a 6. I commend him for giving it a 6. I bet you when it came out, he probably gave it a 9, but or a 10, and probably said it was game of the year. But despite that, yeah, I don't even know, man. So this was his video on addressing the Starfield hate, where he basically just said your opinion doesn't matter, and I find things wrong with the game too, and I rated it a 6 out of 10. But your opinions don't matter. Go pick on another game, not my game. Boo hoo. That's basically what this 4.5 minute video was. You know what? I'm going to link it down below if you want to go and watch it yourself in entirety without me talking about it. Go ahead. Go punish yourself and watch it. These things are painful, people. I do this, though, for you because this is the news about the entertainment industry, the gaming industry. These are the people, again, that are shilling for bad companies. So what they're doing is wrong. And we need to expose this, no matter how painful it is for people like me to have to sit through this and break it down and expose it and try to deal with it and try to make sense of the dribble they're saying. It is difficult. It is painful. It is, I don't know, man. It's not fun. This is why I try to pick up on some games that I could do some good videos and some positive videos about. Because dealing with this stuff is very, very draining and tiring. Anyways, like I said, putting a dress on a pig so you can take it out and make out with it. Did I go too far with that? Did I not go far enough? What do you think? As always, drop down in the comments. I read all the comments when I have time, and I respond to those I can. From Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Thank you all for your time. Bye-bye.